Shalom. First of all, I'd like to start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of great Muslim, likewise brothers for knowing this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and to brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson's title, Start with the Niggers, a covert attack on the tribes of Israel. Now, those of you who are new in this truth, the 12 tribes of Israel are the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos, and also the speckled bird, who are the Hebrew Israelites that look like the other nations, but are in fact Hebrew Israelites whose seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, we have growing trouble here in Great Babylon, America, for the tribes. And what this man, Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, is doing is he's using people's fear of violence or lack of safety or peace in their communities as a means to come after the tribe. Remember, pursuing the Genesis 27:41, Esau said that he will pursue his brother Jacob. He will kill his brother Jacob, okay, which is the 12th tribe of Israel. Esau is the Edomites, okay? Esau is the Edomites, the so-called white race that is ruling this earth right now. Let's go into 2 Corinthians 2:11. It reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Now, in this video, I'm going to show you several clips today, and you're going to see how Esau is making his moves on the tribes. Okay, when we go into the book of Zechariah, okay, 11, and starting with verse 4, we can see how this move is being made. It reads, "Thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not." Now, you'll see in these clips that I'm going to show you how Esau is taking something known as chastising, okay, which is what we do now. When we take a look at the meaning of the word chastise, okay, in the ordinary dictionary, what we get here is rebuke or reprimand severely, okay, and you can see where it says scold, berate, reprimand, reprove, rebuke, which is what the prophets do, okay, for the children of Israel, okay. We rebuke, the 2/3, hey, get out of the ways of Great Babylon, America, okay. Get out of the ways of Great Babylon, America, repent and turn to the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai. When you look at the AI overview of the meaning, it says to chastise someone means to criticize them severely, typically for wrongdoing, or to punish them harshly, sometimes physically, which we don't do the physical part of it. That's what the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is going to do. It implies a harsh scolding or rebuke, often with the intention of correcting the person's behavior, which is what it says. Okay, the fear of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is the beginning of wisdom. So we put the fear in our people that the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is going to judge them severely using Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, who's his whipping stick here on this earth. Now, what Esau has done, okay, is he has taken that and he's using it as a means of, okay, when you look in the scripture, what it says here, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Now, what Esau is doing with that, okay, is he's looking and he's saying, well, wait a minute, look at what they're doing here. What you have is the worldly jakes who are coming up against the prophets, okay. They call us the black Hebrew Israelites, and they're saying, hey, y'all are racist, y'all don't want to get along, y'all always speaking bad things about the so-called white man, when he's trying to do right by us, give us free housing, food stamps, snaps, etc., etc. You have the Edomites who are against the worldly jakes. They might tolerate them in their workplace, but they don't like them. They're definitely against the menace of society type jakes, okay, which this lesson is going to go into those particular jake, and what you're going to see here is a task force that's now being executed out there in Memphis real soon. Okay, and then you also have the Edomites who are against the so-called black Hebrew Israelites, which is what they refer to us as. You also have the Jakes, who are against the Menace to Society Jakes. Okay, they're against them, and you're gonna see this. And then you have us who are chastising our people, telling them stop eating, pork and shrimp, and stop committing adultery, turn back and repent. So Esau is taking all of this, and when you accumulate all of this, this is known as something called black fatigue. Black fatigue. Now, let's take a look at these video clips. It's going to be a couple of minutes, so bear with me, and you're going to see where this is all going to, make sense, okay, so to speak.
Video showing hundreds of alleged migrant criminals arriving in El Salvador after being deported from the U.S. President Donald Trump used a wartime law known as the Alien Enemies Act to quickly deport those alleged gang members. It was last used in 1941 to detain Japanese, German, and Italian immigrants during World War II.
A bad group. When you look at them and you look at the crimes that they've committed, you take a look. You don't get any tougher, you don't get worse than that. Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level.
So
bold statement from FBI Director Kash Patel this weekend about Memphis. On national television Sunday, he called the city the homicide capital of America and announced plans to send a task force to Tennessee to tackle the issue. ABC 24's Scott Mattis is here to break it all down. Scott, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pepper. Kash Patel also said he did not know Memphis was actually the homicide capital of the United States until he took his oath of office just a few short months ago, and now he says he'll be sending federal agents right here to put an end to the violent crime. Now, I can also tell you, he said this: I didn't know this until my confirmation process, but Memphis, Tennessee is the homicide capital of America per capita. Now, didn't know that. We have a problem there. We're now addressing it. We are rolling out one of our task forces to the state of Tennessee. That's what FBI Director Kash Patel declared on national news just yesterday. And Monday morning, that declaration is reverberating across the city of Memphis. This comes after the Memphis Shelby Crime Commission told ABC 24 News last year that the rate of major crime, I should say earlier this year, fell by nearly 9%, 8.8 to be exact, this year when compared to the first quarter of 2024. Now, Memphis City Councilman, and he's also the chairman, J.B. Smiley, tells me Monday he welcomes the FBI's help if they keep their word, but he also says getting those guns and those switches off the streets should be everyone's biggest priority.
The laws that are being put forth just lead to a series of guns in our community, which ultimately leads to lives lost. And that's what's more troubling to me.
All right, Memphis Mayor Paul Young gave me this statement this afternoon. It reads in part, MPD has always collaborated with federal agencies on addressing violent crime, and we're encouraged by any effort whatsoever that brings more resources to Memphis. We look forward to learning more from our federal law enforcement partners. Now, Pepper, I can tell you in talking with people all afternoon into this evening, that's welcome news. Live in studio, I'm Scott Mattis.
White people don't want to live around ratchet black people.
But at what point in time do we say, no, we have control?
I hate serving black people. I'm sorry. I hate it. Are we trying to defend y'all?
Yes, you read that right. People are getting sick and tired of the black people, and it's majority black people sharing the sentiment and speaking up about this. When I saw this trend happening, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what, really? There's a growing section of black people that are tired of other black people and calling out the bad behaviors. thankful, because I'm tired of people saying that it's racist to do so when it's not. These people that we're talking about, myself, and I'm sure even yourself, are just tired of how black people are acting in the streets. And on the flip side, of course, we're going to talk about people who are not on board with this black fatigue thing. In this video, we're going to discuss just that, this rising trend of black fatigue, people who are supporting it, people who are against it, and everything in between. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. And also, I am going on tour. So crazy to say, this fall, I'm coming to a city near you. All dates and ticket information is below, and also at amirodom.com. Come meet me. I can't wait to be there in person, do Q&As, meet and greets, just chat about the world, politics, self-improvement, childhood trauma. There's so much we're gonna get into. I cannot wait.
So as you saw in those video clips, okay, you know, starting with the first one, what did you see there? You saw how they went after the Latinos, okay, and Hispanics, okay, the Northern Kingdom tribes. You know, they refer to them as criminals. They round them up, they took them over and put them in El Salvador and some in Guantanamo Bay. Okay, you have Trump, that's, you know, the leader of the free world, okay, which, you know, that's laughable to say free, okay, is justifying his actions, okay. And then you saw a video in which the FBI director is sending agents to go and call something that they call, okay, you know, Memphis right now is mentioned to be the capital criminal place here in the United States, okay. And I'm going to show you this video clip right here, okay. Now what they're talking about and what we bring out about is the thing that you see here is what you call YNs, which is known as young niggas, okay. And supposedly, you know, these YNs basically they're the menace to society that everyone is talking about, okay. And this is what they're sending those SWAT teams and, you know, FBI agents out there. You know, they're going to be undercover, some of them, and they're just going to be blatantly outright going after the jakes out there. And YNs have a particular or peculiar look to them, you know, dreads, sagging trousers. Sometimes they wear like white beaters or no shirt at all, and they walk around with something called a switch. And here is what this ATF agent demonstrated what an ordinary handgun would be, and then when you modify it to make it be a switch.
A Glock handgun is designed to be used like this. But if you use the illegal switch, it becomes this. Now it can fire up to 30 rounds in just 2 seconds.
And you saw how the difference of that. Now take a look at what these YNs are saying in this clip that I found here. This is what is the nightmare that's going on here in a lot of these states here. Take a look.
Let's go. Young niggas all around with sweaters, ain't no checking them. My nigga, I been up 5 times, still loving shine, blessing. His wall side, still on tip by anywhere it go. He ain't treated right, I'm spurting on another nigga. Yeah, be running north, I knew y'all got the red that way ain't playing around. That shit on citizen alert the size, it's a man.
And as you can see, there is what Esau and them task force is looking to go after. So this is a serious business here, because what Jake's don't understand is what they're not looking at, you know, without warning, because as the watchmen, we warn our people. We not only the 130 lakh is going to comprehend and hear the words of the prophets, okay, but it's out here. It's out here on the Unicorn. We're posting it. You know, some brothers are posting on Odyssey, Facebook, you know, various platforms that allow us to post our videos. We go to street corners, okay? And keep in mind, what Esau is doing is he's coming after what he's calling the criminal elements of the society. Now mind all the Moabites and the Ammonites and, you know, the Ishmaelites and the Elamites, and it happens to be so that the, you know, director, he has, what is it, Patel? He's an Elamite, right? Indian. Okay, and I've dealt with a few of them in the world, in the business world. Okay, very, very proud. Okay, very proud and think that they know it all. Okay, and here he is. There's nothing for them. You know, and they want the face of who's persecuting Jake to be anything other than the so-called white man. Because see, this is where the Jakes who in the world can say, you know, Esau is doing a good thing. You know, he's going after the menace of society. Okay, Jakes. Okay, and we see how this is all mixed up. Esau is using this what he's trying to play as a friction. In reality, the true righteousness of this is really the men of the Lord that are saying that this is going to happen. Repent, and you don't have to be a part, okay, of this persecution that this man is going to come up with. In fact, when we go into 1 Peter 5:8, it says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about, seeking whom he may devour." Okay, and which is why we're always vigilant. When we're always vigilant, we are vigilant that the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is bringing the judgment on Israel. Remember, we were given the laws. Okay, so he said, "I've known you," roughly paraphrasing, "of all the family on this earth. Therefore, I will punish you, okay, for all your transgression." So we're getting that judgment first. It's gonna start with us. And so, as part of the hopefully elect, we hope that the Lord will see fit to spare our lives and keep us safe from his henchman, which is Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man. Okay, so you can see how this is actually working out. Okay, you can see how, you know, your little fruitcake Jakes them in the world, they want to side with Esau. They want to, you know, be a part of the system, and where they may very well become part of that system temporarily for the use of this man. Because Esau likes it when he sees, you know, these Jakes speaking on black fatigue and how they hate, you know, black people who don't act right. Guess what? Guess who they think don't act right? The prophets that are out there on the highway and the byway that have signs that shows, you know, their deity, okay, Caesar Borgia, Jesus Christ, having horns coming out of his head, calling the powers to be liars. And that's an abnormal behavior. Okay, so what Esau of them is doing is basically they're creating basically you know, conditioning society to get used to coming after us, and just by starting out with the obvious so-called bad Jakes, okay, or so-called bad guys in society. So that will get the Jakes them to support that. Oh yeah, I hated those niggas anyways. I hated those specs anyways. They'll support that, so they will not speak against it. But this goes deeper, because this is Esau eventually coming after the tribe. Eventually, what you do is you condition everybody to get used to putting out. Keep in mind, our lives are worth nothing to these people. Our lives are worth absolutely nothing to these people. So when they start grabbing Jakes them and throwing them in prison systems, you know, putting them in these FEMA camps all across America, send them over to El Salvador, send them over to Guantanamo Bay, you know, people will be like, yeah, okay, whatever, okay. Our people in their sleepness, okay, not being awake, not hearing the warning, will be like, yeah, okay, that's a good thing. Okay, let's go on with life right now. Because why? They don't understand the tactics of Esau. They don't understand his devices. You have to take away the humanity or the feeling or the, what do you want to say, the compassion of people, of something or somebody, so that it becomes normal to them to see that. That's the reason why a so-called black man could be shot in the street and nobody cares. Nobody cares. They will rejoice. They will be very, 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 very happy. Okay, we go into the book of Matthew 5:25, because we're going to be faced with some serious unfairness. Okay, and then you're going to have Jakes them to understand that you can't escape the judgment of the Lord Yahweh Shemashah. So you can side with this man all you want, but at some point in time you may be facing this. It said, agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. We are going to face certain situation like that, okay? because of in the end, as this is building up, what Jason are going to see, okay, and have these clips playing in the background, okay, is that this is going to go from one city to the next. Okay, we seeing right now when he was grabbing up the so-called Latinos and Hispanics and deporting them, they were deporting American citizens, people who had nothing to do with any of the things that they were accusing these men of. But yet still they were caught in the crossfire. Now we're not going to talk with these other tribes here who are going to be rejoicing at the fact that it's not happening to them, that it's happening to us. Okay, people that look like us, but they don't realize that this is going to go into something even bigger, that eventually it's going to come to them. But this is really about Yasharala, or this is about the tribes of Israel, that this man is starting with what society would deem garbage, criminals. We don't care about them. Lock them up and throw away the key so that we can have peace. But think about it. Black fatigue, I just showed you. You have Jakes in the world with their education and they think they're part of the world. They hate us for preaching this gospel as truth, calling us racist. That's abnormal. They hate the niggers out there that are doing things that upset the balance of their life and upsetting the so-called white people who they admire so much and they want to be a part of. You have us teaching, okay, or admonishing them and saying you should be separated from them, okay, because you're not one of them. Don't eat the abominable food. Don't do the abominable things. And they don't like it. You have the Edomites that are saying, well, why y'all teaching separation? Shouldn't we try to rebuild Great Babylon America again? So fingers are being pointed at us. Fingers are being pointed at the menace of society, Jakes. And the Edomites secretly really absolutely hate the worldly Jakes that's trying to be with them. In fact, when we go into the book of 2nd Ezra 16 and start in verse 69, it reads, and they that consent unto them should be hid in derision and a reproach and trod underfoot. So it makes no difference if you join these Edomites, Jake. They're going to look at you and go, okay, you're just a nigger. We start off with your bad niggas first, and now we're coming after all of you. Okay? So the Lord is going to feed you to them. Because you didn't want to come under, the protection of the shepherd, which is the Mashiach. It reads, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Okay? So there's no escape. We fear the Lord. So guess what? This is coming for us. They're just starting over with you niggas first. And then it's eventually going to come because they could see Esau again is using, okay, what we are saying about our people, which is a correction, then using what you people are saying about us, which is basically being rebellious. And then you have the niggas out there that they don't give two shits. They just want to do what they want to do. And he's going to say, see, at the end of the day, they're all bad. Let's get them all. And it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. And this is a test that each of us, as part of the elect, is going to have to go through. But it says, through much tribulation, you'll inherit the kingdom of heaven. So we've got those troubles coming to us. But as I looked at this and looking at these clips, you can see the pattern here. You can see the well, it's really in our face. This covert attack on the 12 tribes, starting with the niggas. Lord willing, the elect was edified at the close of by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.